This is so sad. Where are all my Real Housewives? Y'all, y'all see it exclusive. Kandi is getting a divorce. This is really sad. And the headlines are telling. The headlines are saying that Todd is after Candy's money. Kandi filed for divorce recently, and she's saying that she would like to have joint custody and have the judge figure out spouse support and also invoke the prenuptial agreement that she had him sign. Todd is saying that he would like primary custody, which means he would want the kids to live with him, and saying that the kids already live with him, and because of Candy's work schedule, that it'd be better if the kids are with him, aka I want more child support. He's also wanting to have the judge question the prenuptial agreement that he signed. I remember that prenuptial agreement, and I'm glad Candy not only had the Real Housewives of Des, um, I'm sorry, the Real Housewives staff there with the cameras, and also her people with the cameras. He fought tooth and nail. He didn't want to sign the prenup. He just didn't want to sign it and try to make some cockamamie story about the residency thing where if they broke up, he would have to be out of her house in 30 days. He was like making a big stink about that. She's like, okay, well, then you could go stay in the guest room if that's what you want to do. She said, when you broke up with other people, did you go lingering around them for more than 30 days? I think not. So I think her spidey senses were already up. But her mom was said it. She said it best. She's like, I'm on your ass. Ain't nobody gonna stop me from being on your ass because the mom knew. The mom knew that this guy was an opportunist. So now he wants to question the prenup. And in that episode, I remember distinctly the questions were asked. Um, are you in agreement with this prenup? Yes. Are you signing it under distress? He said no. So now he wants them to question it and is trying to question the premises because it was presented to him the day before the wedding. Well, or the week of, I forget exactly, but that's not the case. She had been telling him that they need to get the prenup done. He had been stalling. He thought that his big old mandingo between his legs would get her not thinking business wise, thinking through this, and that wasn't the case. Kandi always uses her brain. Candy's I think he thinks he's going to swindle Can. I think he thought he was going to swindle Candy, and Candy is very smart. She's about her money. She didn't become this rich for nothing, not because she didn't use her brain and wasn't very business savvy. And so she made sure that that prenuptial agreement was signed before she married this man, and rightfully so because he played the long game. Now he's trying to contest it, and it's just like these men who get with these women who have a lot of money and then they sign some shit and then they want to contest it. And not just men, women too. No, you don't get to be somebody, live their lifestyle for 11 years under the premises. Caveat was when you sign that prenup that this all ends if we divorce. So you don't get to take her lifestyle with you onto the next woman. You should have, Todd, been building yourself up, and so when if things, went badly, you could walk away unscathed and live comfortably. That was your responsibility to do. What happened is you stopped working and you submerge yourself into her businesses. And so then there was this clip that was going around about Todd and how Todd was saying how like, oh, well, you don't think if a husband, shares ideals with you and is trying to help your businesses, blah 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 blah, that he shouldn't get something. And she right then and there should have knew, uh-oh, I need to be talking to my lawyer. I need to make sure everything that we sign is intact because not too long after that video came out, here we are, they're getting a divorce. And immediately they go for the money. These opportunists go for the money, and everybody tried to tell her, yeah, he's an opportunist, he's an opportunist. And then there was this one video that I found quite entertaining. It was Phaedra and Mama Joyce talking, and Phaedra is the one who hooked Candy up with this guy. And so Mama Joyce said, "Why you know all these lawyers, entrepreneurs, men with, you know, if not as much money as my daughter or more, why wouldn't you hook her up with somebody like that? Why would you hook her up with?" It was fucked up what she said. She called him the help, but that's what he was. He was a line producer on Candy's show, and um, Phaedra was the only thing she could say is that he's accused of button. He's smart as a whip. Blah 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 blah. And the mom was like, "Well, did you?" marry the help? Did you marry someone like Todd? No, you didn't. So why would you set my daughter up, who's supposed to be your friend, up with somebody like this? But Candy ignored a lot of red flags prior to the marriage. Mommy was sounding off the alarm. She saw something, she knew something, and you ignored it. But then there was this actual woman who was friends with the woman that Todd was with before he married Candy, who he left for Candy, who was saying that he's an opportunist. He just upped my friend to be with you. He every woman he's been with, he's always upgraded and always pretty much found himself in a better position. And then the woman that he dumped Candy for, you can only listen to her so much, but you can't fade it out completely. She was saying that, yeah, he was looking for opportunities, looking for a check, and he referred to Candy as a check. And she should have paid attention to that because look now, he's going after her money. And this is not surprising. I think this is going to be another Mary J. Blige can do situation. I think she's going to get screwed, but I'm hoping that she that this prenup is bulletproof. So the next one I want to talk about. Oh my God. Since we're talking about love and relationships. Why not? All right. So in this clip, this is Brian McKnight talking about his relationship with his first wife.
Our two families are two prominent families in the Black Adventist Church. We both met at the college where I was going. She came, okay. I was a sophomore, she was a freshman. We kind of started dating. The next year, she gets pregnant. This is back when shame was a real thing. I know, yep, I get it. She's back home. She tells me she's pregnant and that she's going to get an abortion. Because I'm like, yeah, we should probably do that. You're 18. I'm 20. Why would we? I'm just about to start this whole thing. Maybe this is the route we need to go. And she agrees. I'm like, oh, dodged a bullet. I'm going out to sign my deal in California. When I leave there and get back to Huntsville.
Ladies, if you're gonna do the abortion, do the abortion. Don't stop having these men's baby that don't want them. Stop having them. And y'all need to do some real conversations. Like I understand like drunken nights, things happen, but we really need to start being sexually responsible. And this man has so much vitriol for you. I don't know why you carried his babies not once, not twice, but 3 times. I can't imagine because how vitriol he is that he didn't show you that after enduring the pregnancy. So I don't know why you kept getting pregnant by this man, but we got to have a level of accountability. Like this is horrible what he's saying, but there's got to be some accountability. And the fact that we need to stop having these men's babies that don't want them. And then also if you're going to have these babies, don't bring them into these toxic relationships. Like he's saying, I was never in love with my ex-wife. Like that speaks volumes, and I don't think he ever held that. The way he's spewing in these interviews, I don't think he ever held that, and she knew that. I don't know why she kept getting pregnant by this man.
That's when she called me and said, actually, I didn't have the abortion. So now I'm like, I got to tell my mom. My mother, who played the piano and was singing in the choir every week, in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, if your kid has a baby out of wedlock, you no longer can hold any church office. You can't sing up in front. You can't do it. You are held responsible for whatever the kids do. I honored my mother, and I tried to do the right thing with a woman that I hadn't even known a year yet. We got married in September. Baby in November. We had sort of an agreement. You handle this part. I'm not changing diapers. I'm 20 years old. This was not.
Mind you, he had, and could you imagine being his age? He has to be in his 50s, mid to late 50s. He still doesn't accept any accountability for making that child. Brian, you made and laid down with those three babies. Why, if you knew after the first baby, I think he says in here, that you didn't love this woman, you didn't want to be with this woman, why did you keep impregnating her? Why? Why did you continue to do that? You have to also accept some accountability here and stop blaming her and totally. Y'all made a mess. Both of you made a mess because she knew you didn't love her allegedly. If we're going with his story, he's telling us that he never loved her and made it clear to her that he never loved her. Then why did you not have some self-control and stop blaming her, stop impregnating her and leave? Why? Because you're really not angry at her. You're angry at your mom. It sounds like all you wanted to do was protect your mom's image, your image, by marrying her. And that's not this woman's fault. And for you to be using her as your punching bag is distasteful and disgusting. And the woman that you're with is no good either. Because the fact that she's sitting here, listening to you do these interviews, getting paid for them, might I add, and stepping on another woman to do it shows me what kind of low self esteem, no good of a woman that you have. Because any woman with some self esteem, some self respect, would at least demand that you respect the mother of your children, regardless if you don't like her personally. You will at least respect her for the simple fact that she bared your children. But he doesn't even care about her or those children.
What I expected to do. You made this decision. You're going to handle that, and I'm going to handle this. Yeah. When you make that bargain, you say, hey, you're going to take care of this. This is your responsibility. And they say, got it. And you go and you do what you have to do. You're expecting that to be the case. But we don't realize is that people will tell you whatever it is they want to tell you to keep you there until that first argument. Then the real thing starts to come out. But by then, you're looking at your life, you're like, well,
I know he's not trying to say he's a victim. Brian, you're not a victim, baby. The only victims of this whole situation are your children. You and the mother of your children, the ex-wife, is not. None of you. You two aren't victims. You equally contributed to this mess. Y'all should have not stayed together. I'm pretty sure you treated her badly. She shouldn't have put up with that. She should have left and you know went her separate ways. But she stayed because clearly she uh loved you more than she loved herself. Because any self-respecting woman, if they have a man with this type of energy in their house, would have been like, you know what, I don't want to torture you with my presence, I don't want you torturing me with yours, let's move on, let's just raise these kids. But the fact that he's trying to make himself the victim is crazy. And the crazy part is, women, when you lay up with something like this and marry something like this, remember, the same way he talked terribly about his ex-wife, that could be you. Because the moment that the honeymoon phase wears off with his new wife, and the moment that she does something he doesn't like, you're going to get the same wrath. So what you're seeing him do is a display of what he'll do to you. And I also think the reason why he's so blatant with doing this is because to forewarn you, if you don't do X, Y, and Z, this is what you're going to get from me.
and I had this conversation with my mother, like, why did you have me do this? You tried this, it didn't work. Now you got me doing it. Right. It was tough,
Look,
but I'll go
blaming
right
his
ahead.
mom.
We separated 4 times before we ended up getting divorced ultimately anyway.
How far into the marriage would you say the first separation?
2 years.
Because you were married for what, 13 years?
Yeah, 13.
And here should have been the follow up question. And I didn't watch this in entirety, but the follow up question should have been this: if y'all broke up 4 times, who kept coming back? And why were you coming back? I doubt that that lady was begging him to come back. She could have. And then my thing with him is, clearly you love yourself more the way you're talking to us right now. Why did you keep letting her come back if she begged? So that would somewhat lead him into some accountability in the mess.
Why not just break off? Why stick it out for 13 years?
For the kids. I was never in love with their mother. I wasn't. They weren't made from love to begin with. And I said this before, and people got so mad. This obligation that just because you lay with somebody now, it's sort of an 18-year sentence of some kind or beyond that.
No, that's not the case, Brian McKnight. If you lay with someone, right, and there's no baby involved, it's not an 18-year sentence or a lifelong relationship. It's not. You can go your separate ways, but you didn't do that. You didn't protect yourself. You didn't use protection, and neither did she. But so there's a baby made, and she didn't get herself pregnant, but it's all her fault. Like men like this kill me, and the fact that he's given a platform to spill this bullshit is really irritating.
Because it's forever. There's resentment there. But at the same time, you do have these children, and you want to try to do your best to do right by them. If we were never supposed to be together like this,
There weren't children, there was one. When you married her, you had one. You could have left her after one, but you didn't. You continued to impregnate her.
in the first place, but we have these children. We both have to do what's right for them. And you're right. What we should have done was just separated for good then.
What's that nail in the coffin that then leads both of you to come to the conclusion that you guys are no longer good together, regardless of whether or not you have kids or not?
I think we always knew we weren't that. She may have been lying to herself if she thought otherwise. For me, when I realized I could parent those boys without her, I could be a good parent. I could be there for them and I could give them what they needed from me.
This is what you call being a good parent? Blasting your kids on every platform you can find, calling them lazy, entitled, and talking shit about them even into the one's deathbed. This is what you call good parenting? Okay.
Without being married to their mother.
Do you think that the kids were the thing that kept y'all together as long as you were?
Absolutely.
Like, he's so bitter, right? And I was like, why is this man so bitter? When you left, clearly you're claiming, you're waving your flag that you left. Okay, you left, you left. Come to find out, what it was is that really grinded his gears. I was about to say burn his grits. What grinded his gears was this. He felt like when they divorced, she should have got absolutely nothing. And he didn't want to pay child support. He didn't want to pay spousal support because he didn't want these children. So he felt like he shouldn't have to. Blah blah blah. Typical deadbeat. But what really pissed him off was that she took a percentage of his catalogs, I think his hit songs. I forget which ones exactly he said. And he said that's when he became angry. That's when he became bitter because he felt like she shouldn't have got a piece of that. She didn't write it, blah, 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 blah. But because it was written during the marriage, it was community property. And he's also claiming that she didn't inspire any of those songs that he wrote. He wasn't talking about her. So she definitely shouldn't get a piece of it. And it's like, at first I'm like, you know what? Maybe she shouldn't have took the percentage of his music. Maybe she should have just let him have it and just took her spouse support, took her child support, and moved on with her life. He was even mad that she moved. I think they lived in LA. I'm not 100% sure. And he was mad that she moved to like somewhere cheaper, like I want to say North Carolina, so that her money could last more. And he just really wanted to see. He was like, of course she moved to somewhere cheaper so that her money can last long. He really wanted her to suffer. And it was just like, all she did was have sex with you, unprotected. You were okay with it at the time. You enjoyed it. And now she's the villain. And it's like, I'm glad she did take the percentage because he changed his name, cut his sons to her out of the will, and all they would have got. And not saying that kids should be entitled to what their parents have, accrued, but he now he has this new son who's his heir, he says, whatever, and everything's going to go to him. And it's just like, no, you have three other children over here. Why are you treating them poorly? Why are you cutting them out because you hate their mother? So I'm glad that the mom did take the percentage, and I'm starting to think she was thinking in hindsight he was going to get more toxic and nasty like he did, and that she better get something for her kids out of this. I'm thinking that maybe that was the intention for her children. I mean, now that percentage doesn't mean anything because maybe this is why he's doing these interviews. He's trying to devalue his catalog, which hurts himself because now he was supposed to perform at some college, I forget which one it was, and they canceled him because of all the nasty stuff he said about his wife.
You don't
And
mean
it's
that.
hold on. Okay. Let's talk about Mr. Messy himself. He is the most messiest human being. But you gotta love him. He's very entertaining. Ray J. So Ray J, you see he's on a live here. He wants to be a live streamer. And so his account on Twitch has since been banned because Ray J went over to, well, I guess he invited the mother of his kids over for Thanksgiving with their kids. They, for whatever, I think they're still screwing. This is just my thoughts. I think they're still screwing. And so she went over there for whatever reason on Thanksgiving. Obviously both were intoxicated, not making any sense, and you couldn't really follow the story. But Princess said that he garnished a gun at her, pointed a gun at her, and I think she's leaving out pieces of it. I believe what happened was she was because he kept yelling that she's trying to drive drunk, she's trying to drive drunk. And if I'm one to believe there is some truth in the middle there, I believe that she was trying to drive drunk because they were not getting along, obviously, and she was trying to leave with his kids, and he did something ridiculous because he was drunk and pulled a gun out on her. Well, cops were called. He was wrestled to the ground, sent to jail. Then he checks himself into rehab. And here he's on a live and he's talking to his new girlfriend, and he's telling her he'll never be in love with her and that he's always going to be in love with I think Princess. He said he goes between Princess and Sukihana. Like he says he loves Suki. He's just a big mess. And it's just like he's never not been this toxic. He's always been this toxic and chaotic, and these women love it. So I don't feel bad for any of them because we all see it. I see it. You guys see what he does up in front, right in front of your face. And if he wasn't who he was, you wouldn't even be ignoring these red flags. Princess, what the hell were you doing at his house? Why are you trying to reconcile with this man? You done divorced him. He could have spent Thanksgiving with his kids on his time. You didn't need to go over there. I don't know why y'all continue, you included, because you're not innocent in this. You are contributing to this toxic environment. So, as the video is being recorded, Princess is holding the baby, screaming in the baby's ear at Ray J, and going back and forth with him. It's just a mess. And I feel bad for these kids. I really do. But happy belated Thanksgiving, everybody. I figured I would do a segment about messy relationships and just get your opinion about it. Tell me what you think. Leave me a message on Spotify with your thoughts and your comments. I'm gonna upload this to YouTube. Leave a comment on my channel, Blue Caveat, and I'm also going to upload this to TikTok. So make sure you leave a comment on my TikTok, Blue Caveat. And y'all have a good night.